Any chance we could see Dr. Uckman make a guest appearance on this show?
Well, Dr. Uckman doesn't show up in the first game, I don't believe. Dr. Uckman is a later installation.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time. I have to say, from the first 4 episodes, this is already shaping up to be one of my favorite shows of 2023. I was really looking forward to this, and I'm mostly just angry I don't have the rest of the series to watch right now. So I want to start with the question, adapting video games to other mediums can feel a bit like a Sisyphean task based on some previous examples that will go unnamed, but I'm curious, what was your approach to this particular adaptation?
Step one, start with the best story ever written in video games. That's the secret, right? Start with The Last of Us. But then step two, make sure that you're doing the adaptation with the creator of the game. And then step three, make sure that the creator of the game is Neil Druckmann, who understands the value of adaptation and is smart enough to understand why we would want to change things and why we would want to adjust things, and also why we would want to keep that. He is so smart about the creation of his own story and where his story carved out gameplay and where our story doesn't need to carve out gameplay, where the story of the game required a certain nature of NPCs coming at you and where our show does not. And then the two of us just talked through everything, every aspect of the game, and followed our love for it, our instincts, and asked ourselves as fans, what do we need? What would kill us if it weren't there? Where are the opportunities to expand and change, and how do we make sure that the soul of The Last of Us is intact in this new form?
Another part of that equation that is very important is Craig Mazin. And he's being kind of modest here, but having a partner that is just an amazing writer, has a great taste that I admire, and understands this other medium, like is an expert in this other medium, it just really allowed me to, over time, to trust him more and more and more to sometimes, right, give me the confidence to keep things as is, so there's no reason to change them, like why change them if they work, and other times to have really kind of meaningful conversations about, well, these sequences worked well in the game, they're not going to work well for the show, let's lean into the character drama more so than we could have in the game, and that will give us a richer show, a richer telling of this version of the story.
Yeah, and I think you folks do a fantastic job of kind of like expanding and contracting that story to give us a bigger slice of the lore, like, when the infection first sort of breaks out, things like that. I'm curious, Neil, did working on this adaptation give you any new perspective on the game and its world, or the show and its world?
Yeah, no, it's been kind of fun because when you build a world like this, you spend a lot of time on the things that you're going to have on screen. And then you just kind of explore things on the periphery a little bit, just so it feels like the characters in the world is knowledgeable beyond what the player experiences. And in this instance, the stuff I really enjoyed is where we got to kind of take those deviations. Like, we've given this some thought at Naughty Dog, but we didn't go very far with this idea. And then to work with Craig to let's go further. Let's see where this road takes us. For example, the Bill and Frank episode, which was like Craig's baby, deviates quite a bit from the game, and yet it answers some things that were left unanswered from the game. Like in the game, there's a conversation between Bill and Joel, like there's this favor that Bill owes Joel, and we never answer in the game what that is. Here in the show, even though it's a different Bill and there's different circumstances, it kind of answers that question. If you kind of look carefully and like see what's happening, and like when Bill gets hurt. And that's the stuff I love, kind of deviating and just finding something new and seeing like the stuff that the game inspired of this thing that we made at Naughty Dog, and how it like helps inspire these other beautiful stories in this world. And sometimes it just kind of answers and help broaden and enrich the world of the game by exploring kind of all these other avenues.
I mean, that episode you're talking about, I think, I hope you have your Emmy speech ready, because it's just a barn burner from start to finish. Just really knocked me off my feet. So I can't wait for more folks to see that one. Yeah, it's definitely so unexpected. I love how you folks play with the timeline in this series as well. One thing I do want to talk about, sort of going back for fans of the game, is I love seeing, we're talking about playing sort of not fast and loose, but like making deliberate choices with the lore. But I also love seeing these callbacks to the game in the original. We see Easter eggs like Curtis and Viper 2. I'm curious, any chance we could see Dr. Uckman make a guest appearance on this show?
Well, Dr. Uckman doesn't show up in the first game, I don't believe. Dr. Uckman is a later installation. But I will say, as a fan of The Last of Us and all parts of The Last of Us, that collectibles are a thing. And while we certainly don't have episodes where people are going around, oh, I found a coin, or oh, I found a tag, there is one collectible from The Last of Us that we do feature, and I love it. I just love that it's there. And what I also love about it, and this is, Neil and I kind of doing our thing, is we turn it into something that matters for character and brings two characters together. And so I think that's where part of our job is to make sure that if you've never played The Last of Us and you don't know anything about it, you will be fine. This show will work for you for sure. If you have, there will be some layers of things that will make your heart skip a beat or two.
Yeah, if you talk to people that watch the show that don't know about the game, you're like, oh my God, that thing references this whole other thing that wasn't in the show that's here in the game. And by the way, the reverse is now happening. We've now talked to a few people that have watched the entire show and are either playing the game for the first time or replaying the game. And they talk about how much it enriches the game for them because they kind of like, they can project beyond what you're experiencing in the game.
Yeah, I mean, watching this definitely made me want to go back and replay the game. And I'm excited to share this world with people that haven't experienced it yet. So, gentlemen, thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking the time, and congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Well, thanks, Dan.